The full moon represents the completion of a cycle, and in this season I've been needing a bit more grounding and calming energy in my life, so this sequence was designed to do just that. Everything that we do will be on the mat. So we'll start our practice in our child's pose, bringing your feet together and sending your knees wide apart. Stretch your arms forward as you melt your chest and your forehead towards the mat. Starting to surrender and release. Maybe bringing to mind's eye what you manifested at the beginning of this season, the new moon in January, and what you are ready to release now towards the earth, out of your body, onto the mat. And take another breath here, full inhale. Release on the exhalation. And start to lift your head, walking your hands back towards your knees. Knees will draw back closer together as you tuck your toes under. And one more time, stretch your arms forward. It's taking a different variation of a child's pose with the soles of your feet activated. And then walking your hands back towards your knees, you'll lift your torso up. Lift your knees and come to balance on your toes. Add any movement that feels right in this balanced shape. Perhaps some neck rolls, shoulder rolls, anything that feels right. And on your next exhale, gently bring your knees back down to the mat, and walking your hands forward to tabletop, keeping the toes curled under. Melt your heart forward. On your next out breath, your head will rise as you walk your hands back towards your knees. Lifting your knees, toes stay curled under. This time tucking your chin into your chest straight away. Maybe you can balance and hug your knees, hug your shins, not required. You can always keep your palms on the mat as well. Wherever you'd like to go with your practice today. Wherever you're at, take a breath. Start to walk your palms out as you gently bring your knees back down to the mat. Untuck your toes and press your hips down. And lifting yourself up to a tabletop. Palms right underneath your shoulders, hips over your knees. You can tap the tops of your feet, give them a little stretch. Take some organic movement here in your tabletop, rocking your head left and right, side to side, roll the hips. Maybe take some cat-cows, anything that feels good. And stretch your right leg back behind you. Draw your knee into your chest, squeeze your belly in and up as you step your foot forward in between your hands. If you'd like to, you can stretch the left leg back a little further and then give your right thigh a hug, feeling the stretch deepen on the outside of the right hip. Release your elbows and stretch your arms up high towards the ceiling. Your hips will rise. Low crescent lunge. As you exhale, bring your palms down to the mat and start to shift your hips forward and back, moving from a straight leg to a bent knee. Hamstring stretch to a hip stretch. And take a few rounds like this, flowing back and forth between these two shapes. Always have the option to lift the back knee up by tucking the back toes under, moving from a high lunge to a pyramid shape. But staying grounded is okay too, whatever feels right for you. And prepare to shift back to your tabletop. Your right knee will move back to meet the left. We'll take a cat-cow here to reset the spine. No, we won't. Your left leg is going to spin parallel to the short edge of your mat as a kickstand. Right leg is going to extend long. Left palm is on the mat, right arm reaches towards the ceiling. And squeeze your right heel into your glute before you straighten the right leg long for a half moon pose. Take a breath. Exhale, squeezing your heel back in towards your glutes. Both knees, both palms back on the mat. We'll reset with a cat-cow, lifting head, neck, and chest towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, round your back. Take another exhale to tuck the toes under, sending your hips back to your child's pose. Arms extend long in front of you. Walking your hands back towards your knees, lift your knees, balance on your toes, full moon shape. Option to take the balance here. Grabbing onto your shins. If you fall out, no worries. Just jump back in. Or gently lower the knees and stretch your arms long. And come back to tabletop. Left side. You walk and stay where you're at. I'm just going to shift so my left side is facing the camera. Inhale, head, neck, and chest lift up high towards the ceiling. Exhale, round your back, chin tucks in, tailbone dips down. Come back to a flat back. Left leg extends long behind you. Squeeze your navel up into your spine and bend your knee into your chest. Lift it up high towards your nose. Step your foot forward in between your hands. Lunge on the left side. Right leg can extend back if that's more comfortable for you. And give your left thigh a hug. Just breathing into that hip stretch. Giving yourself some love. And then as you release your elbows, you'll lift up to your low grounded lunge, your crescent lunge. Exhale to bring the palms down to the mat and start to shift your hips forward and back from a straight left leg to a bent left knee, moving from a lunge to a half splits. Can you move with your breath? What's happening in your hips and hamstrings? Can you use your exhales to release any tension, release any emotions, release any buildup? And step back to your tabletop. Right shin will pivot off your mat, coming parallel to the short edge of your mat. Left leg extends long towards the back of your mat. Right palm is on the mat, left arm reaches towards the ceiling. And squeeze your left heel in towards your glute. Feel the stretch on the front of your thigh. And stretch the left leg long, keeping your heel in line with your hip. Half moon pose. Heel squeezes back in towards your glutes. Lower your palm, lower your knee. Come back to tabletop. Tuck your toes for our last toe stretch. Hips reach back towards your heels. Arms reach forward. And lift your hips. Untuck the toes, resting the tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale, shine your heart forward. Cow pose. Exhale, round the back for cat. And take any organic movement. Intuitively feel into your body. What do you need right now? What feels right? The new full moon is all about emotions and tapping into self. So rest back into your child's pose. We'll finish our practice here. Stay as long as you like, giving your body what it needs. Be well.